Hey guys, welcome back to the farm on this beautiful January day. I don't know about you guys, but on the farm, when we have nice sunny days like this in the late winter, early spring, we take advantage of it. And especially when it comes to pruning things. So here on the farm, we have a lot of different things to prune. We have apple trees, pear trees, cherries, plums, grapes, blueberries, and the raspberries. And so that's what we're gonna work on today. So we wanted to come to you and just let you know, kind of give you some easy tips for pruning Everbearing raspberries. And I made sure to say that slowly, Everbearing raspberries, because that's the variety we have. Now, if you're pruning a June bearing or just a one-time bearing raspberry, you're not gonna wanna watch this video. I mean, you can still watch it, but it's not really gonna work for what you're doing because those produce differently and you need to prune them and train them a little bit differently than we do Everbearing. But the reason we like Everbearing is because you'll typically get a crop in about late June and July, and then it trickles through the summer. You kind of get a steady crop through the summer, and then kind of a big push then there at the late August into September. And so one reason that we like that is we have a big family, we have the farm, we have jobs, we're busy all the time. And it's much easier for us to do a lot of little batches with making raspberry jam or freezing raspberries than it is to kind of set aside and do a whole bunch at once. We do this with our strawberries, we do this with a lot of things, and it makes it so much easier to do. So when it comes down to it, there's really two ways to prune Everbearing raspberries that's super simple, that will give you that nice steady crop or give you a little bit of a steady crop, but a big, huge abundance then in the fall. So the first way is if you want more of just one crop in the fall that's gonna do really good for you, just take these raspberries and cut them off right at the ground. Makes it super easy. Just go and trim them all back, cut them right down to the ground. The other way that we like to do it, so we kind of get a crop in July and it gives them a little bit of a head start, and then we get it trickled through the summer and then another crop then in August, is to prune it this other way. So let me show you. When you look at a raspberry plant, if you kind of look at the top down, you have these, you can kind of see where the raspberry is kind of produced, and then go down from there and you'll see where it kind of stops. So there's no more buds, and you can see, just follow it all the way down, down to the ground. So like I said before, if you want to cut them off at the ground, that's fine. Just hack them off right at the ground. But what we like to do is we like to go and find on the stalk where that stops, where they produced, and then go down from there and cut that off. Just cut it off there. And then what that'll do is your crop for this next year, your raspberry plant, instead of starting at the ground to grow, it's gonna start at that next bud. So, you know, here's the buds here on this cane, if you can see them. And what it'll do then is wherever we cut, that next bud below that will be the start of the stem, and that'll grow up, and then you'll get your fruit on top of that. But since it doesn't have to put as much energy into growing clear from the ground all the way up to get fruit, it's just gonna start from here. You get a nice crop in July, and then you'll get that trickled through to the end of summer. So that's what we like to do. The other thing we're gonna do with this when we're pruning is we're gonna look for a few things. We wanna look for any wood that's dead or damaged or diseased. Go ahead and cut that out. We're also gonna look for any canes that are, you know, smaller than your pinky. We tend to cut those out. Those are typically first year canes. And the reason we do that is we want to keep the bushes in here nice and thinned out and airy, because we'd rather have some big canes. You know, like with any fruit growing, you want sunlight and oxygen, air to get to them to produce that really good fruit. So by thinning that out, that allows for more light and stuff to get down to where those buds are and those berries. So if you look down here, you know, like here's a piece of damaged wood. That definitely is gonna come out. We'll just cut that off. There's a few more pieces in here that are typically kind of old. Those ones will get cut out. And then what we'll do then is we're gonna cut out these small ones like this. Oops, that's in the way. The small ones like this that are kind of small, smaller than my pinky, and just go ahead and cut those out. And like I said, when we're typically looking for where that fruit comes down, what we like to do is typically that's about 3 feet up. It could be a little shorter, but most of the time it's 3 feet up. We're gonna go ahead and we have a wire that we're putting on here that's gonna be at about 18 inches to 2 feet to help kind of hold these canes in when they come out and they get full of berries and wanna bend over. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut everything at about that 18 to 24 inch height, as long as that is the berries from last year are all above that. So it's super simple. You want to cut it off at the ground if you want a little bit of fruit through the year, but then a main crop in the fall, or just go 18, 24 inches as long as you're below the berries from last year, and cut all that out, and you'll get a nice crop in June, July, through the summer, and then again in the fall. And then, like I said again, any dead, damaged, diseased, you're always gonna do that with any of your pruning, and then we cut out anything smaller than a pinky. So Abram's out here waiting to get started. He's gonna help me out, and Greta's coming back. She had to go grab another pair of pruners because a couple of our boys are doing some adventuring, and I think they walked off with them to go make a fort somewhere. So you know how it is on the farm, things are always disappearing. So we're gonna get started, and join us. So as you can see now, we've cleaned this up a lot. It's a lot thinner, looks a lot better. It is nice and groomed to the height that we really want it to be. So I'll just show you a few things. You look in here, you can see it's a lot thinner. We thin this out and clean this out. It looks kind of like there's a lot taken out of it, but what it does is all these then will have more space to grow through. You're still gonna get some growth from the ground when you've trimmed those, but these are gonna get a head start on that because they're gonna be this much taller. So they're gonna get up and have a lot of light to get to the berries and to get to the blooms, excuse me, to give you a lot of fruit. All right, so we got the berries done over there, and now we've moved over here by the chicken pen to cut these raspberries. We have these here just to kind of as a spot, because we need a lot of raspberries actually, but also we put them here. They create a nice shade and a hedge here for the chickens to hide under in the summertime to keep cool, and it works really well here. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these all the way down to the ground so that we can give you a comparison later. We'll take some, maybe make another video or take some pictures later, and so you can see the difference on how they grow. But yeah, we're gonna get to this, get these cut all the way around. I've kind of finished in the orchard for now, and we're getting all of our pruning wrapped up for this year. One thing I wanted to show you too, which I forgot, is my new favorite pruning tool is this right here. So this set of clippers they're battery powered, battery operated. I got a guy at our church sells them, and a lot of those guys use those for pruning hazelnuts where they've got thousands of trees to do. And we don't have thousands of trees, but we have a lot of things to prune, and this sure takes a lot of time and effort out of it. So if you guys are able to find a pair of these, you can find them online. These are a Zenport, I think. Super cool, super great, and it lasts a long time. I mean, a long time. The first time we got them, we took them out, put the battery in it just out of the pack, and cut all day, and it was never charged. So yeah, it works great. Anywho, thanks for joining us today on the farm, guys, and we'll see you next time.